Ba-da-ba-da, ba-ba, ba-da-ba. Oh shit, I'm gonna get copy strike for that. Fuck. Welcome to Film
It
Caffeine.
wasn't that good. You're not gonna get copy straight, okay? They're not gonna recognize
No,
it. It was
do you know
terrible.
what that was from?
No. That's the
That was
point.
from the. Yeah, I shouldn't even give the algorithm this. Have we been copy strike before, like at all?
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't think it really
I
matters.
think we have. I think yeah, the first like meme edit. I think the Charlie's Angels meme edit, where it's just Elizabeth Banks. I think that got copy striked. Understandably so, because it's just pure footage from the
I
trailer.
mean,
But like still.
yeah, but today we're gonna be talking about
Welcome to the fucking caffeine corner. Is that the name of this? Let's call it the caffeine corner. Honestly,
awful. It sounds like you're like huddled into a corner, but you're forcibly put there and you're being sent caffeine down your throat just by a tube. You're in a
yes.
bathtub of ice and you're just getting caffeine
No, no, no.
rammed down your throat.
I have the perfect name for this segment. Coffee with Karan.
Hey, I think you just copy striked us. Okay, so
I think
context.
we just I
Coffee
think we
with
just got
Curran is
copy
a
strike by the entire I think we just got copy strike by the entire country of India.
yeah. Anyways, we're not gonna
P
say that because
series.
I've
P
seen a few
series.
videos or not videos episodes of that because my some of my family friends had it on and it's kind of bad. Like there's a specific actor which I don't know his name, but he was just kind of cringy. He was just yelling and everyone
Oh
was
yeah, no.
cheering because they don't know what quality is. But
I mean,
anyways,
a lot of those are fucking horrible.
yeah. Anyways, the point is let's
Ah.
talk about Knives Out. That's what we're talking about today.
Knives out. We're putting all the knives on the table, boys. That's
Right.
a horrible pun. We're like the Gus and Eddie podcast over here. All we got are knives. You don't get that reference, but the people who watch the Gus and Eddie podcast do. Hey, Gus and Eddie, I love you guys. Mwah. Okay, that
Okay.
wasn't gay.
So now
Anyways, as you can
now
tell, I am not, in fact, I am sleep deprived, actually. So, and we're still doing this. I don't know why we're doing this. Knives Out. Holy shit, this movie. Oh my god.
I'm Detective Lieutenant Elliot, and this is Trooper Wagner.
We just want to ask a few questions.
We understand the night of his demise, the family have gathered to celebrate your father's 85th birthday. How was it, by the way?
The party? Pre my dad's death? Oh, it was great.
right. So I'm gonna give my non-spoiler thoughts, and then Mithy's gonna give his non-spoiler thoughts, and
I'm
then
gonna
we're gonna go
bounce
into
back on
spoilers.
yours a little. But yes,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So non-spoiler thoughts. If you like murder mysteries, if you like things like Clue, and you like murder mystery novels, if you like murder mystery movies, but you're really tired of a boring plot where you can guess the ending, I'm gonna tell you right now, this movie it tells you everything, but yet it tells you nothing. It's a movie where you have to rewatch it and find out the details as you keep doing it. My friend told me many of the details at the end of the movie, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're right." And it's got for the majority of the movie, you think you know what's going on. You think you understand it, and then there's a point where you don't, and then there's a point where you do, and then there's a point where you don't, and at the end you realize you actually never knew what was going on. You suck, and that's the wonderful thing about this movie. And
That you
it's got
realize that you suck at the end?
yeah, you just realize you suck because you didn't predict the end. There's no way you can predict the end. Like it is a genuine subversion of expectations. That is, by the way, a meme. I'm doing that on purpose because this is how you subvert expectations. You think you know what's going on and you think you understand the plot, but you really don't. I was completely flabbergasted by the end, and I was
Oh.
utterly
You know, it's almost
pleasantly
as if the
surprised.
director slash writer of this movie is good at subverting the expectations of the audience. Huh.
Yeah.
Hmm. 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 Should we do the Rise of Skywalker review next? Oh my
No.
god, that would be so
So
much.
just no.
Okay, non-spoiler thought. Let me give you my sort of non-spoiler thoughts. I think this movie was amazing. See, here's the thing. This movie came out. I wanted to go watch it. I never watched it. I really wanted to go watch it. I never watched it. Then finally, a friend of mine was like, "Hey, you know what? Let's go watch this movie." And so I decided, okay, yeah, fine. I'm gonna go watch this movie. Oh, I'm gonna go watch this movie. Finally, and I was like, okay, it's a murder mystery, sure. And then it started off, and I was like, from like the first like just 15 minutes alone, I was like, I think this is the best pacing I've ever seen in a movie, like ever, just in general. Like, I'm not I'm not a great judgment of pacing, but I could clearly tell that like Ryan Johnson knew exactly what he was doing with at least the first couple of scenes in regards to pacing and dialogue. And I'm assuming the script was like just absolutely perfect. And like I feel like whoever was like greenlighting the script or something just read that page and was like, okay, this is it, because that's like where I think his material just shines, is just from that first 15 minutes just narrating. Of course the rest of the movie is absolute genius as well, but it's especially just there, it's like amazing. For some reason, I don't know why, this movie had, like, for me, the charm of the Now You See Me movies. The Now You See Me movies in general aren't amazing movies, but they have like a pure charm to them that like allows people to like them so much. Just
Right.
purely based off like the cinematography, the shaping of scenes, and the shaping of the script in general, with the chemistry behind these characters. And this movie reminded me of that much, that kind of charm, but also with an excellent story. And so I think that's why this movie just like hit me like amazingly. I will say, this is non spoiler. For me, the actual like murder mystery part of it, right, wasn't the strongest part for me. And that sounds like a shock, because that is like the core of this movie. But for me, the strongest part of this movie was like purely just Ana de Armas' performance and the way that she did everything in this movie. Like just her character and her arcs and everything related with her movie, or with her character. Even like Daniel Craig's character is like, okay, I get his character and it's enjoyable, but like there were times that I would feel somewhat annoyed with his character. I never felt any of that with Ana de Armas. She was
And
just perfect in this movie.
she's supposed to be the likable character. She's definitely a likable protagonist. You know, she's a
She's like, I imagine like something would I imagine it would just be like all of the characters are sort of the same. She's just one of the characters. But like I remember when this movie came out and so many people on Twitter were like, "Oh my god, Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas. We all stan Ana de Armas." And now I can very clearly see why. And
right. And
even just for her
another
performance alone, you need to go watch this movie.
And another thing I need to point out is, so this movie uses a lot of tropes, but then just turns the trope on its head. Like it's almost
Oh
poetic
yeah,
how
yeah.
many tropes it uses, but at the same time how many tropes it breaks. It's 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 beautifully poetic, and you will not understand what I mean until you see the movie. So as a non-spoiler thought, if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend you do. I mean, just
Yeah,
even
no,
if you
this is a
don't like murder
100%
mystery.
recommend. Like, I remember just of 2019, right? I'm still counting this as like a 2019 experience just because the movie came out in 2019, and I was gonna watch it in 2019. It got pushed off until now. I will say that of 2019, I watched so many amazing films like last year, and maybe that's just my asshole film bro self coming in kicking into gear, but like I've really watched a ton of amazing films last year. Just to name a few: Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, Knives Out. What else have I watched? Fuck. I'm trying to think of some other really good. I watched a lot of good romantic comedy films too, for some reason. I mean, mainly Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, and then this were like the three big like, oh shit, these are some amazing movies.
Yeah.
Man from Uncle as well, but that wasn't really a this year movie. I will say this experience watching this movie was like the most like enjoyable experience.
It was
And
the
that's
most
nothing to
movie
knock.
experience. It was the most movie
Yeah,
experience in the sense that you watch the movie and it's a one and done. We're so
yeah.
used to the series style of movie storytelling where like Marvel and DC and Star Wars and you know back in the day Harry Potter waiting for the next movie. It is kind of refreshing every single time I watch a solo movie like this. It's kind of refreshing to see a movie that you don't have to worry about the next movie. You can just watch this
Yeah.
movie and know you got the full story.
And I
It's
mean, even
definitely
just
refreshing.
even just looking at like even just for the since it's the three that come to my head, Jojo Rabbit, Marriage Story, and then Knives Out. Just even looking from it, I would say JoJo Story. What the fuck? Jojo Rabbit is still like an enjoyable movie, and so is Marriage Story. But both of those have elements of like, okay, there are things you have to like feel and emote, and like you have to like be very seriously nitty and gritty with this movie. This movie was like the most, it was like it rode both lines. Like it wasn't on the fine line between being like a blockbuster and being an art house film. It did both like very well. It was a very good art house film in a way, and it was also a very good blockbuster. Like it did everything that you wanted, and it didn't get like hampered down with those like, because usually those ideas of it being a blockbuster, being an art house film, like usually hamper with the quality of the movie, because it's like, okay, we have to like commit to these things, or we have to commit to something else, or we don't have the budget to do all of these crazy things. This movie wasn't inhabited by those things. It was like it took advantage of having the blockbuster like cast and Ryan Johnson coming directly off of Star Wars, and it took advantage of that. And then it also took advantage of the fact that they didn't really have a huge budget. They just used a mansion, and then they used a couple other set pieces, and that was it, right? Like
Right.
there wasn't a
So,
lot to do. And they
so
used it, they
side
took
note, by
advantage
the
of
way,
both sides, and that's what made it like the best.
I want to bring a side note here, real quick. Okay, so I actually didn't know it was directed by Ryan Johnson until you just mentioned it. I
Wait, really? Like for
No, I
real?
didn't. Yeah, no, for real. I did not know that. I didn't do much research into this movie other than the one trailer I saw. And I just looked it up, and I mean, now I get the joke that you're making in the beginning of the video, but the point is,
Good
I
job.
really want to know. Okay, so here's the thing. People, I when you mentioned Ryan Johnson, I realized, oh wait, he's directed by Ryan Johnson.
When
I
you when
really
you
hope
no no when you mention Ryan Johnson, I feel the death of 1,000 souls or some shit like that on the
trying
planet
to
Alderaan.
reference
I don't.
Star Wars without having
I'm
seen
trying.
that movie of
I
Star
know.
Wars.
I'm
Oh
trying to
my
reference
god.
A New Hope without having seen A New Hope.
Damn.
I'm
Okay, well you
sorry.
got
I'm
it close.
sorry.
I got the reference
Thanks.
you were
Thanks for
making.
watching. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Bye.
Okay. But the point is, I I really hoped when you said that the audience score wouldn't be diminished because of the fact that it's Ryan Johnson. But now looking at it, I'm clearly seeing that it's not, and thank God. It's
Oh yeah,
97.
no. I remember like what happened with this movie when it came out, right? It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's 97% Rotten Tomatoes. That just tells you like how much critics love this movie. But then also 92%. That
Yeah,
tells you how much
92% audience
audiences love
score.
this movie.
But
It's like,
that's the
what the
thing. That's
fuck?
the
This
thing.
type of movie
I
exists?
so
How?
I would like to basically kind of rat out the people that had kind of like the pettiness to insult Ryan Johnson for a movie that they didn't like.
Oh
And I'm
yeah,
fine.
yeah. This is a great discussion
You,
talking about
you cannot
the
look.
fandom. Oh
Look,
my
look, you
god.
cannot like a movie. I'm okay honestly, in the past few weeks, I have understood enough to relate with the people that don't like Last Jedi. I still like The Last Jedi, but I can understand why you don't. But to insult a man that made this movie like so personally, which I've seen, like Ryan Johnson can go die in a ditch or Ryan Johnson can go do this. It's like you have to ask yourself how petty and insignificant of a human being you have to be. And then you see this movie, and I want to wonder what happened to Ryan Johnson must die in a ditch. What happened to Ryan Johnson's a terrible director? Now, maybe all of these people that watch these movies aren't Star Wars fans, but I mean, there's a lot of Star Wars fans. So statistically, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
little unlikely. So the point is, Ryan Johnson is a really good director. Okay, you guys just got butthurt because your fan theories didn't get
And I
Yes.
will say, like, even like rewatching The Last Jedi, it's not really as good as I remember it the
Yeah,
first
no,
time.
it's
But
not perfect.
that doesn't make Ryan Johnson a horrible filmmaker.
Yeah, I
Like
don't
he's
think it's a
still
great movie. I don't think Last Jedi. I would still probably give it just a 7 out of 10. That's it. Like that's
yeah.
like a
Like
high
even
shot.
like look at the opposite example too. Look at Joss Whedon, right? He directed Avengers the first one and it's like awesome. Then he directed the second Avengers movie and it wasn't awesome, but I still think it's a decent good movie, right? And
Mhm.
then he also directed basically, I mean, he didn't get to change much of the plot, but he did direct like a good amount of Justice League. And
Oh
Justice League
well,
is,
Justice
dare
League
say,
is
a
kind
bad
of
film.
terrible.
Dare I say a bad film? Right? Like,
Hey,
I mean,
look,
it. A director is not a director can be defined by the work that they make, right? And they should be defined as far as getting gigs and stuff like that. Which is why I don't understand why Chris Terrio, the guy who wrote Batman v Superman and Justice League, got to wrote Rise of Skywalker. Like that doesn't make any fucking sense, right?
right?
But like that still doesn't like 100% define them as a creator. Creators
Yeah.
can always change, and creators can always change their vision. And I don't. That's not even an example of what happened here. Knives Out is such a different movie from The Last Jedi that it's like,
Right.
I mean, you can see some form of like, okay, you can tell that the same person directed it, but like Knives Out, I think is what like this is like a different. This is not anything to do with Star Wars. Don't even think this was directed by Ryan Johnson, okay? Think of it as a movie, and if you enjoyed it, then go back and thank the guy who made it.
Personally,
And if you don't
personally,
enjoy it,
I'm
just be
glad.
like, "Hey, it wasn't as good." That's it.
Personally, I'm glad that the biases against Ryan Johnson didn't affect this movie because I think Ryan Johnson really did deserve all of the credit that he's getting right now. I haven't actually gone in
Well,
depth and
yeah.
looked at the reviews. Like I just looked at the number 97, 92. But what I'm saying is I I do genuinely believe that he's a really good story. He basically here's the thing. Knives Out is a very it's not only a plot-driven story and a character-driven story, but it's also a very thematic-driven story. It's got a
And
lot
that's
of
where I think it's the strongest is the thematics.
yeah,
Honestly, the plot, like I like looking back at the plot, I'm like, okay, I didn't really enjoy it as much as maybe I wanted to enjoy the plot. But the character stuff, the thematic stuff is what really made this movie just like amazing for me.
right. Now, do you think it's fair to now switch to the spoiler part of this review?
I will say, like again, final example. Noah Baumbach wrote Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted. I personally enjoyed Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, but if I go to Rotten Tomatoes right now and I look up Madagascar 3 Rotten Tomatoes and I'm clicking on it right now, well, oh shit, it's actually like a 79% Rotten Tomatoes score. Fuck, I expected it to be like really low. But regardless, I remember no one likes this movie. Okay? Like I guess it was good, but like not a lot of people like this movie. Noah Baumbach wrote it though. Guess what else he wrote? Fucking Marriage Story, you fucking piece of shit. Shut the fuck up and take two of my middle fingers that I'm giving at the camera, but you can't see because this is an audio podcast.
Oh, preach.
Yeah, preaching to the choir. Okay, keep going. I
Right.
think we're done with non-spoiler stuff. We should give our
Yeah.
rating, I guess, right? Or should we save that for the end? I guess
Save
I'll
it
give
for
this
the
a
end.
rating. I'll give it a rating. I think 9 out of 10. I don't want to give it a 10 out of 10 because there are still things that I don't like. I can't. Maybe it's just my dumb brain that I can't exactly completely follow through with in terms of
Right.
the plot. But like as far as like just the movie in general, 9 out of 10 for sure.
Yeah, I think I have not found anything wrong with the movie, so I can't really take any points off. So I'm judging it purely on the quality of like how my enjoyment was during the movie. And I have to say I was pretty much hooked the entire time. The only time that I was sort of not hooked, I would say, is sort of the middle, like the dead middle of the section where it sort of changes the course of the plot. And, I don't want to say too much because obviously non spoiler, but that portion was a little off for me just because there was some moments where I was like, okay, but like what's happening now? And I think that's more of a me thing. So I think for now I'm just gonna give it a 9.5. I think it's a very good movie. There's otherwise I don't think there's anything wrong with it that can be glaring enough to the general populace. So yeah,
Yeah. So
spoiler time.
that's that. Spoiler time. It's spoiler time. It's like MC Hammer time, but it's spoiler time. That was a joke for those of you who don't study comedy.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to request that you all stay until the investigation is completed.
What?
Can we ask why? Has something changed?
No.
No, it hasn't changed, or no, we can't ask.
So yeah, Captain America left the MCU to become a fucking murderer. What the fuck?
What? Oh yeah.
Captain America. That's the spoiler, guys. If you guys didn't leave already, what the fuck are you doing? You should have left. Just give a like, subscribe, and then just fucking head out the door
It's too
because you're
late.
not
And I'm
welcome
pretty sure the
anymore.
people that stayed probably gave a dislike. But yeah, Captain America's a freaking murderer. Anyways,
Captain
look,
America left the MCU to
look,
become a fucking
look.
murderer.
I'm gonna say this like this, okay? The characters. First of all, these characters.
Let's talk about
I'm gonna say
Ana
my
de Armas
spiel.
last. Let's talk about Ana de Armas last.
Okay, fine. Let's
Because I
talk
want to
about
go
Daniel
on a rant.
Craig's character first, okay?
Oh shit. Okay,
Walker.
Daniel Craig's character. Holy shit. Okay, I remember seeing the trailer and I listened to the accent and I said, "Oh my god, why did you? No. Oh, ugh. Like nothing against southern people. I don't have anything against southern people. They're great, but this is just so overboard, right? And like during the movie, there are times where I felt like, okay, it was a little overboard. And it's like, do you have to really make it so that I can't really understand you talk? Especially like the reveal scene at the end. Like there are times where it's like, okay, yeah, I understand what's going on, but at the same time, your voice is just so distracting, right? But like, it works for comedy. It really works for because he does like a lot of good comedy in this film, and it works for like all of that.
Yeah. Now, I didn't have anything wrong with his voice. I personally just kind of understood everything that he said. That wasn't really my thing. My
Yeah, same. I
my
understood everything he said. I just got like distracted at times.
my thing is, so I didn't predict. So I predicted a thing, right? My prediction was that he knew all along that Marta was the killer. And my prediction was only half correct because he said he knew since she walked in because of the bloodstain. But my second part of the prediction was that he is on purpose trying to relieve the blame off of her because he knows she's innocent. Obviously, that wasn't the case until the very end when she actually was innocent, of course. But the point is, so I actually kind of sort of predicted that, but not in the full sense, and definitely not in the way that he actually did find out. I think his character served the plot well. He was like, when you look at it critically, he served his part as the investigator perfectly. He was the bumbling investigator that was competent but also silly at the same time. I think there was really nothing wrong with him. Um, I don't think there's really anything they could have done better. I think his comedy beats were on point. He was and the comedy beats didn't feel forced or plastic. A lot of the comedy that I've seen in the past movies have been plastic, and
Even
I'll
in the Last Jedi, to a certain degree, like there is like
oh yeah,
comedy
yeah.
that's just like, yeah,
That's the biggest reason why I give Last Jedi a 7 instead of a 8 or 9. It's because Cantabite and the comedy being very plastic and just sort of over the top. But in this movie, the comedy felt real. It just felt when he's in the car listening to music. I was yeah, it
yeah,
was
yeah. That
hilarious.
scene was fucking great.
Yeah, and when he's talking about the donut and all that stuff, it's great. It fits. And then when he
I will
goes into like
say,
the inverse
yeah,
donut, it's just it's good comedy because it feels natural and it feels understandable, even though it's not understandable. You're not supposed to understand what he means about the donut, but
I will
you
say,
can still
yeah.
follow along.
I mean, the thing was he was advertised like in all of the trailers and shit as the main character.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the thing is maybe the marketing didn't ruin the movie for me, but it was like it does lead you in a very different direction than what the story is actually about, right?
Well,
Because
it's hard to. It's,
the story is about Marta. It's about Marta and like everything that she goes through, and that's like the focus of the story. But like it has
see,
to be a murder mystery, right? So you have to focus all of your promotion around this mystery Sherlock
right,
Holmes guy investigating all the people in the house,
right.
which really
Now,
the movie wasn't, right? It was a movie was the like doing the reverse of a murder mystery where you know what's happening sort of, but then you need to like
right.
figure out how she's going to get away with it.
I'll get to the plot later. I just want to go over briefly over some of the other characters, and then of course I'll go over to Marta last. We'll go over Marta last. But another.
I was going to say one thing more about Daniel Craig's character. I forgot what
Mhm.
that was. Oh yeah, I had a theory like that he was actually the murderer. I don't know why. I think Yeah, I think you know the scene where she's about to tell the family that she killed him, right? And
Yeah.
he goes, "Wait a second, you guys are all evil," and then he drags her to the room, right? For a
Yeah.
second, I was like, "Is he gonna drag her into the room and then threaten to kill her if she says anything, or something like that?" Because
Okay.
he
Well,
actually killed him.
yeah, no, that I didn't think that. That
That
was
would have
not.
been dumb. That would have probably been dumb, but that's like the first thing that just popped up to my head for some stupid reason.
Yeah. But yeah, other characters, obviously the family members. Now, here's the thing. I think this the way the characters were introduced in this movie was perfect. I was really
Oh yeah,
worried that
no.
I would have to
Again, the first fucking like 20 something minutes, beautiful pacing. Absolute. This is balls on a filmmaker. Perfectly paced, perfectly acted, perfectly everything.
well,
Every filmmaker needs to study these
if you see
scenes and
what
understand how it
happened,
works.
if you really see what happened, it really is a great masterclass in how to introduce characters effectively. Now, obviously, don't do it always like an interview scene. I'm just saying, like, think about how it was acted, right? Think about how it was given. They brought in these one by one characters, sort of split up the timeline of when they were being interviewed, and just and each character was given such a distinct personality. You could tell, like by the end of the movie, you could tell how each one of them was going to react to what happened at the end. And the sister of Harlan, the no, not the sister actually, the sorry, not the sister,
Daughter,
the
daughter.
daughter of Harlan, then the son of Harlan, then the grandson of Harlan, Ranson, who comes in later, the daughter-in-law. I mean, all of these characters are so well defined,
Oh,
and
yeah, no, I was
they do it
so
really well for
excited
me.
to see Chris Evans because they build him up so well throughout like the movie until the midpoint where it's like, oh shit, this is the dude that's like been alone the entire time. Ooh,
Okay,
what's this guy been up to? And
my
then when they
favorite
introduce
comedy
him,
beat
it's like,
my favorite comedy beat of the movie was when he's telling everyone to eat crap. He's just like, "You eat
yeah,
crap, you eat crap, you eat
eat,
crap. Up your
eat.
butt,
You
up
know
your
what?
butt."
Eat shit. You eat
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Up your
It's just
ass.
it
Eat shit.
it it was beautiful. Like that scene made me laugh so hard. Like it's almost
Yeah,
like
I would have laughed probably more if I didn't see it in the trailer. But like other than that, it was like just the entire thing of him coming in with a smile on his face, knowing everything that's fucking going on. We'll get to the
yeah,
twist part of it later, but just in that moment, just the idea of this guy like getting kicked out of the will and then everything else going on is like, yeah, fuck this dude, but also like you go.
yeah. Now, the characters we talked about, the plot. I think the
Oh,
plot is
are
fantastic.
what else about the?
Oh wait,
I
we haven't
felt
talked
like
about Marta. We haven't talked about Marta. My bad. Well, go back, go
no,
back.
no, wait. I need to say my little spiel on the other characters.
Yeah, what?
Again, sort of the same concept with the whole marketing sort of ruining it, where it was like, okay, maybe these characters should be more major characters. But like aside from all of that, I like the way that he made the film seem modern, but not at the same time. Right? Like it felt like it could be an old film, right? Like it had like the plot sort of mechanics of an old film, but like
Yeah.
it was still modern. It was still very like the cars and everything are 2019 and the atmosphere in the city is sort of 2019, right? But like it still felt as if like some elements could be in like an old classic murder mystery. And I attribute that also to the characters and the way the characters are portrayed, where it's like they're not like talking as if they're in the old 80s or something like that, but they are talking as if like, like, oh yeah, this is, yeah, I was here this night and then this happened. And it's like it gives you that old sort of like classic feeling.
Sort of timeless
Just
almost.
the
Almost
Yeah, the
timeless.
timeless feeling that like you get from classic movies and shit like that. And I think a lot of that has to do with like dialogue delivery with all of the characters. I saw a lot of shit online about how Kate Bishop's character, the girl Meg was her name, right?
Yeah.
The daughter of Tony Collette's character.
Yeah.
She's the one of the grandchildren. Yeah, and she like supposedly she's like a representation of like white people taking advantage of like Hispanics, and like I see that comparison, but at the same time, she is like somewhat redeemed towards the end.
I mean,
Like
look,
somewhat, not
look.
completely.
Since
She's
you,
still like an
since we're
asshole,
on,
but like
since
still.
still we're on characters, I think this movie, what it serves to do is it shows the sort of duality of what people say versus what they are, right? So notice how all of them love Marta, love Marta. They all talk about Marta. They all,
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. But then when it comes to it, it's all about money, right? It's always comes down to
Yeah.
money. So
The
when they be like
instant
Marta,
she's like Jamie Lee Curtis is like instantly the daughter of why the fuck do I keep forget Harold's daughter. He's like, oh no, fuck you, you know all about this, were you fucking my father? And I'm like, oh shit, fuck
well, yeah,
yeah, like they
the point
completely
is,
twist on a dime instantly.
look, it all
And I
comes
love
down.
Michael Shannon too. Michael Shannon, the guy who plays Zod, Michael Shannon, holy fuck, that scene with him in the hallway, like, we have resources, and with this money we could help you get resources to clear all of this. Meg did tell us about your parents situation, and I'm like, oh shit, oh fuck, this is like that's how you write suspense. That's how you the movements of the hands and the walking and the cane, that's how you write suspense.
Yeah, this movie on a we'll get to cinematography later, but characters, I think we should talk about Marta now. Marta is
Yes,
wonderfully
characters.
acted.
Martha, let me go on my oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I want to watch every single movie that Ana de Armas is in right now. I wish I had the power to control reality because okay, I love Zoe Kravitz. She's probably an amazing actress, but like god damn it, Ana de Armas should have been Catwoman. She was in the running. She should have been Catwoman. Holy fuck. Ani, what did I say? Ana de Armas was perfect in this movie to like the perfect degree, and I was like, oh, what? How? What? She killed someone? What? How? Holy fuck! She is like the most like likable protagonist I've seen in like a very. It's like her, and then the kid from Jojo Rabbit are like the two most likable protagonists of 2019. It's
Yeah,
like,
and the movie really makes you, even though she messed up, right? But I mean, you later find out she didn't, of course, but
yeah,
like, she knew, but even if the point is she's so likable that you just kind of don't
yeah.
care.
I honestly, from the start of the movie, I was like, first of all, I've heard so much like good shit about Ana de Armas' performance that I was like, you know what? I won't be surprised if this girl is like secret, like the murderer the entire time, but like not like in the way that it was in the movie, but like in an evil way, or it was like she actually did want to kill him for the money or some shit like that. I wouldn't be surprised because that
Mhm.
like makes sense in terms of like a twist, to be like, she was the murderer the entire time. They didn't go that route, and a part of me is sort of glad that they did not go that route. But like the
Right.
entire time, it's not. I don't even see this movie as a murder mystery just because of her character. I see it as the story of this character put in this super shitty situation and then doing everything she can to get out of it.
Well, so the thing is that the reason, so if you look at it from a critical perspective, right? What happened? She was put into the situation, as you said, it was a really terrible situation to be in. But the reason she's likable is because part of it is her wit. that she shows with Harlan as a friend, that she shows with that Kane dude as a adversary, that she shows with her honesty and her, likability. But at the same time, she's also completely selfless at the same time, right? Because when Fran is about to die, she calls the police, even though that might cause her arrest. If
Which
that
is what I assume. Like in that scene, you're like, oh shit, she's gonna run away or something, or something's gonna happen. He's like, no, she stays
but
there and she calls the police,
yeah,
and she
it,
like,
it's a beautiful, it's almost like a fairy tale sort of like message about honesty, and honesty is the best policy and stuff like that, right?
yeah,
It sort of takes your murder mystery trope. She basically takes your murder mystery tropes and just kind of flips them on its head, right? She's the murderer. You think she's the murderer the entire time, but she's an innocent murderer. You think Ranson is going to help her, and something's fishy. Like everyone's kind of knowing something's fishy about this
and you
guy.
still like, there's a part of you that does think like throughout the movie that okay, maybe they're just gonna fucking like Brand Stark this fucking bullshit where she's just like in the end she's gonna be like, why do you think I came all this way? And she fucking killed him on purpose the entire time or some bullshit like
Yeah,
that, right?
but then
Like you feel
here's
like
the thing.
something like that is gonna
It's
happen,
the,
but like no, it's like she is a heartfelt good person, and that itself is a twist, and it's in itself
right.
in a way.
And it's the only story where it's only a murder mystery story I've seen where you're shown the precise murder of how it happened. Yet there's so much yet to uncover. There's so much to uncover. There's so much story
Yeah.
hidden behind that mystery of Harlan's death. Yet you know precisely how that Harlan's death happened. And I think the end is now I'll go into I really want to talk about the details of the story, which I'll go into later, but the point is I think Marta plays a wonderful pivotal role in this story as a main character, and she is a fascinating character to watch. And all of them are really hateable, really likable, some of them. And they do a really good job. They're very distinct from each other, and you know precisely who is who, and I think it does a great job. So, plot. The time for plot.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing with the plot. Okay,
Right.
I'm not gonna like shit on the plot because I can't really shit on the plot. I can say the plot's it's a good plot. It's a confusing plot. Yes, even like right now, I understand what happened to Chris Evans. Like I understand sort of the basis of what happened. Like he did set this entire thing up, right? But when I look at it from a distance, it's like you just Lex Luthor this bitch. It's such like a multi-step plan that like in a way makes sense, but so many things have to work out like
Well,
perfectly in
okay,
terms of
that's where you're wrong though. Remember, a lot of things didn't work out. Remember, his perception of his plan was completely wrong until he met Marta and then had that little she had her little confession to what actually happened. Remember, his perception of the plan purely worked because of luck. He thought he simply thought that Harlan died from the morphine poisoning. He didn't. He literally killed himself on, like, that's what was figured out at the end. The point
yeah.
is, he thought the Slayer rule would apply, but that's the twist. It wouldn't. Even if Martha would have confessed, it wouldn't apply you know, based on the evidence. So his plan actually didn't work out at all. He simply thought it was working out because of the limited information that he knew. It's all about information, right? All of them knew limited information until the detective put all the informations together. And that's, the classic murder mystery twist. But so the plot was actually ingenious, I thought, because again, as I said before, they managed to twist all the tropes on their head. The murderer was right in front of us, but at the same time, it was not the murderer we thought it was. And the purpose of the murder, we thought it was an accident, but it was actually deliberate. The accidental part of the murder was not an accident. She knew what she was doing, and she was framed for it nonetheless because of a malevolent act that the actual villain did. So all of these things are twists that were all revealed at the end that work beautifully because you realize that, I mean, well, you realize what was given, that Ranson did everything. And you realize that Marta was actually a good nurse, as he says, and she did precisely what she meant to do. So I think it works as a plot and it serves the characters well.
Yeah, I see. I agree to a certain degree. Like, I just think that some things were just like in the moment, just rushing through all of those plot points at once. It's necessary. Like for a murder mystery, it's definitely necessary. It's just like at times somewhat confusing.
Well, I guess that's more of a. I mean, no offense. That's more of a personal thing.
Yeah,
I
it's just
understood.
me like in the moment being like, okay, what happened? It wasn't even anything other than just the vials. Like the vials were just like the amount of switcherooing going on there was like, okay, so did she like in the end, like I understand, like just like thinking about it for a while, it's like, okay, so yeah, no, she did give the right vial and he just like killed himself. Like in
Okay,
the end.
so
But like
what
then
happened
how
was
many times did they switch it, you know?
what happened was so here's the thing. He put the wrong thing in the wrong vial, but she, based on her doing it hundreds of times, knew just instinctively what she put in was in fact the right medicine. But the tape was the wrong medicine, right? That's the whole switcheroo thing. So what Harlan got was actually not the morphine. He actually got the correct medicine. But she thought it was the wrong medicine because of the tape that was on it. Now, when she went to the antidote, find the antidote, obviously the antidote was not there because Ransom removed it on purpose. Now, in this entire time, we think that Harlan is afflicted by this morphine overdose, but he's not. And the point is that um, Marta's first instinct is to call the ambulance. Harlan says no, his time is over. But she insists, he says no, and that's the whole reveal that if he would have listened to her, he would have lived. Point is, the, basically what the moral of the story is whatever Marta says is just law. Like literally everything she says is not only it's almost symbolic. She never can tell lies, but like literally everything that she says in the story turns out to be completely correct. Like you
Yeah.
should just listen to her. Just listen to her. The point is that
I did enjoy. I will say the last throw up bit, the whole, oh yeah, she lied about her being alive. She's actually dead, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Like I like that twist a lot. I did really enjoy that.
Well, I saw
Um,
that coming. I As soon as the phone rang, I was like, it's gonna be the hospital calling about Fran. Fran is gonna be dead. She's gonna lie, hold up her puke, and she's gonna puke in his face. I called that just because that's like a very classic thing to do. Because
I didn't see
the
it
whole
100% coming. Like I was like, there could be a twist there. I don't know what it is because I'm dumb
yeah,
and I'm watching a movie.
yeah. But I didn't expect the whole thing where he would reveal that he killed or Fran.
Yeah.
But
You know, it's funny enough. I was like, when I watched the first trailer, I was like, okay, it's way too obvious for it to be, you know, Chris Evans' character, right? Because he's the
Mhm,
asshole. It'll never be him, right? And funny
mhm,
enough, it's him, but like in the way that you would want it, you know, where it goes around a bunch of loops.
right. Now,
But yeah, no,
cinematography.
it's definitely like cinematography. Okay, just final thoughts. Ana de Armas. She's not nominated for like supporting actress or main actress or something, but she should be. Honestly,
Right.
she should be. Like I know she won't because this is like
Well,
somewhat of a blockbuster film.
Oscars always prefers a very like emotionally like it's hard to explain, but
Yeah, and this
Oscar
isn't
thinks
really
of
that. This is like
I feel like
this was
whenever
their like
a
trial to see like
explosive
if
scene
they could do
happens,
that, but
yeah, whenever an explosive scene happens, that's what the Oscars kind of goes towards. I don't know, it's
they
weird.
yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't
I
really
think
hold
yeah,
Oscars too
yeah, no.
much.
At least it was nominated for screenplay or best original screenplay, and I think
Right.
that's a very worthy nomination. So
Right.
I'm gonna live till I die.
You think one of his family
Walls.
killed? Is that what you're suggesting?
Then I cry. I'm gonna take the
You all love twisting the knife into one another.
Up your ass.
Oh, very nice.
Matter of fact,
God.
eat shit. How's that? Eat shit. Eat shit. Eat shit.
Smug smile.
Definitely eat.
So cinematography.
Cinematography. Okay. What can I say? I mean, there's not much to say other than that it is like a somewhat dynamic camera. Like there is a
It's
lot
a
of
very
okay,
dynamic camera.
yeah,
Like the
it's
whole
a
switcheroo of the pieces, and then they zoom into the Harlan's face to
oh yeah,
y-
yeah, yeah. That stuff
it's
like with the drama they do really well. But like in
it's
general,
very
it is
classy.
a lot of like it was I guess it's less about cinematography, more about just imagery in general. Like the knife,
Less cinematography.
the bunch of knives on the board and shit, you know? Like
Yeah.
like it's those type of things. And was there a point to the baseball, by the way? Like I didn't was there like an actual point to that, or was it just like
I think it
there's a
was maybe
baseball
just a red herring.
to be like, "Oh yeah, my husband has been here" or something?
I don't know, but I don't honestly know. That was just kind of there. But the point is,
Also,
cinematography. I
funny thing about the imagery in this film, you know, there's two scenes of Marta looking at the poster or like the picture of Harold,
yeah.
right? The first one, if you play it back, I saw this on a tweet. If you play it back, the first time she's looking at the thing, um,
Yeah.
Harold is like giving like a somewhat stern look to in the photo. And then the second time, which is like in the last part of the film, when you look
Mhm.
at the picture, he's like giving like a gentle smile, which I thought was like a nice just little nod where you that's like only something you notice like second time watching the movie. You're like just on a tweet or
Interesting.
something, which was pretty
Interesting.
cool.
Right. But I think there's really not much to say other I mean, because we obviously can't
It's a
show
lot
the
of
scenes.
it's less about it's a less of the cinematography, I think. It's more of just the imagery. Like also the cup,
Well,
you know, is like my
I think
cup, my
there's a
coffee,
lot
my
of
house or something.
there's a lot of things that work, like the cane stomping scene when he's blackmailing her, the rapid snapshots of the pieces of relics in his home.
All the flashback scenes even, like, just the panning of the camera in those flashback scenes of the party, that shit
Yeah,
was
yeah.
good.
I mean, I just have to say that the cinematography is very classy. It works for what it's given. It's it doesn't need to be anything over dramatic or anything because it's not that kind of movie. I think it works. It just works. To quote Todd Howard, it
It just works.
just works.
Okay,
So
music.
music. I mean, there's really
Score.
not much to say other
Who did
than
the
it.
score
I mean,
who did
the
the
score is
score for
good. I mean,
this?
what?
Who did the score for this? Let me look it up.
I don't know. But all I'm saying is it's dramatic in what it needs
Nathan
to be.
Johnson. What
It's
did this
very
dude Nathan
it's very energetic, I
Johnson?
suppose. That's the best word for I can describe it. There's a lot of scenes where it's energetic and it's good. It's I mean, again, there's really not much I can say other than it's energetic and it fits the scene.
This guy's done a lot with Ryan Johnson, like specific. Like he did Looper, he did Brick, he did a lot of Ryan Johnson films. So that's sort
Right.
of cool. But yeah, no.
Now,
What else? Like
I
with
want to
the,
talk
I
about
mean,
the
like, was there
overall
an
stuff.
actual soundtrack? Was there an actual soundtrack to the movie, or was it just original music?
I don't know.
I don't think there were any soundtrack, but it's actually I think there might have been like a couple of songs here and there. But yeah, no, it's music is important for shit like this because to add drama and shit like that, and
Yeah.
it's like a very heavy orchestral score or like a
Right.
very heavy like brass score.
Now, my friend who was watching this movie with me when I watched it, he was watching it for the third time. He told me at the end of the movie that apparently Harlan actually reveals the plot of the entire movie bit by bit in all the scenes that he's in before he dies. He mentions about the switcheroo. He mentions about the fake knife, which then leads to Marta not dying. He says specifically Ranson cannot tell the difference between a fake knife and a real knife, and that's what actually ends up, Marta not dying. He mentions
Shit.
about he foreshadows the entire plot of the
Yeah, so
movie.
this definitely deserved a best original screenplay nomination. Holy fuck.
Yes. So another pivotal detail I mean, not really detail, more of just interesting thing is that if you notice that obviously the detective mentions that he knew Marta was the murderer since the beginning, since she walked in. So if you rewatch the movie, you notice that every single scene he's trying to get her closer to him so that he may discern more, right? And she just plays along, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And it's only when the turning in the acting, the subtlety of the acting from Daniel Craig, when she mentions the thing that contradicts his line of thought, you can see his face kind of go, "Wait a minute!" Like it's in the hospital scene when they're right after the Fran scene. The Fran gets sent to the hospital. She confesses, and she says something that contradicts his own belief. And then he goes, you just look at his face and it's just very subtle. He just kind of like leans forward a little and he's like, wait a minute, that's not what I thought. But he doesn't say
Because
anything.
even in the scene where like you know that she's revealed everything to Daniel Craig, he's not
Right,
like with a shocked expression on his face, because then later on you know that like, oh yeah, he definitely knew everything, right? From the
right,
beginning. Or
right,
like at least the fact that she did something from the beginning, right? So like in the moment you're like, wait, why is he not reacting anything? But then later on you realize it. The movie has a lot of things. It plays with your emotions, or not emotions, but it plays with your thoughts of characters a lot, like at the end of
right,
the film.
right.
Gonna fly. I'll take a chance. Flying high. Before my number's up, I'm gonna fill my cup. I'm gonna live, 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 live.
You know something. Spill it.
I suspect foul play. I have eliminated no suspects.
I'm gonna live, 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 until
It's a twisted web. We are not finished untangling it, not yet.
What is this? CSI KFC?
until I die.
So, I mean, otherwise, overall, I think this movie is definitely a 9.5 or even 10. Heck, it's
Oh
definitely
yeah,
a
no,
fantastic.
this movie is a fucking. I will say that like this movie makes me want to watch Looper. Like I want to watch. I really want to watch Looper now because Ryan Johnson directed that as well, and I really want to watch Brick, and like I really want to watch all of his other work. This movie, like, the real reason why I think like I really like this movie, and I think the real reason we both like this movie is because it's like it's still a blockbuster. Like it's not like just an art house film. It's not even like Jojo Rabbit did a little bit of this, but it's still somewhat of an art house film because of Searchlight and the way that it's marketed and the way that it's produced too and the themes that it discusses. This is still a blockbuster film. It is still like a film that I think could stand next to like Fast and Furious directs Hobbs and Shaw or something. It's still a movie like that in my opinion, where maybe it can't compete on the widespread level of those things, but it's still like, oh shit, that's a murder mystery, right? And like I think that's why this movie has resonated with so many people. Like even the memes from this movie, there's like a big thing behind, Chris Evans' sweater, right? The white
Yeah.
sweater he wears. There's like a big like meme following behind that for like people like posted. Like there's like the Knives Out official Twitter like changed itself to like a Chris Evans sweater fan art thing where it's like
Wow.
just them posting
Huh.
pictures of his sweater or some shit, right? Like they like it still is like it's treating itself as if it is like a blockbuster. And I think that's why it's
Well,
cool because like
it's
when you have people like Scorsese come in and say, "Oh yeah, no, all these big movie money making movies aren't cinema." It's like, well, no, you can still have movies that like are still somewhat art housey, but still also blockbustery, which is a strong misconception in today's world.
it's very defiant of the norm, which is that blockbuster movies have to be part of a franchise. I mean, think about like The Jaws, which is considered the first blockbuster, or even New
I
Hope.
mean, this is going. It's not even the franchise thing. They're gonna make a sequel to this movie. If you didn't know, they're like planning
Oh,
it,
really?
and it's gonna be Benoit like going to a different murder mystery. and it's not going to be a direct sequel. And like, I'm fine with that. I think I like this movie a lot, so I will watch whatever comes next. It's not like I don't think it's going to ruin it for me. Um, as long as they don't like fuck it up completely. But yeah, no, I think that like it's not the blockbuster thing even. It's just it's not the like the franchise thing. It's just the fact that it's like it's still a like a good, you can treat it like an art house movie. You can put it alongside things like Jojo Rabbit in 1917 and shit like that, or Uncut Gems even. But you can also put it next to something like Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, or the fucking maybe the Aladdin movie. I don't know about the Aladdin movie. That's pretty big. Or like to a certain degree, like a John Wick movie. Right, like you can put it next to that and not like compare it directly, but be like, see, these are like big movies of 2019.
Right. So yeah, I think overall 9.5 is a good score. Maybe even 10. Point is, I think it's a fantastic movie.
I think will this be snubbed at the Oscars? Let me actually, I'm just curious. Let me look at the nominations just because I'm very curious, and I live for watching the drama of a fucking. Okay. Writing original screenplay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh fuck. This is gonna be an award to look out for. It's Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite.
Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
I feel like it's gonna go to Marriage Story.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I
It's
haven't seen.
either I feel like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood can win so many other things. And like if you look at like all the nominations are like most of them are Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Parasite, and Marriage Story. Like it's always those like seven in like all of these character categories, which I mean is common for the Oscars because they like grab onto like a couple of movies and emphasize them so much.
Right.
Do you know what's weird?
What?
Brad Pitt was nominated for actor in a supporting role for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Was it
Interesting.
a? It wasn't a. It was a main role, right? Like,
I don't
how do you
know.
make that? Like, that doesn't really make sense to me. And also, like Tom Hanks from like Mr. Rogers is in a supporting role, even though it's like it's a movie about Mr. Rogers and he plays Mr. Rogers. So like, I don't know if you're gonna. I don't know. I don't know what that discrepancy looks like, but
Yeah.
it's sort of weird.
But
But yeah, I
that's
think
for a
it's.
later date. I think in terms of this movie, we've talked about all that we could.
I
I
think
think
yeah. I think that yeah. I wish I saw this like in theaters when it came out. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't see it. Oh yeah. I want to talk about that. We forgot to talk about that one character. Fuck. What was his name? Um, Lakeith Stanfield. He's the black cop.
Mhm.
Um, he was just good in this movie, just like in general. I really liked his character. I don't know why. There wasn't like too much special about him. It was just he was a dope ass character. Um,
Mhm.
the supporting cast didn't really stick out, which I found somewhat surprising. Like you get someone like Jamie Lee Curtis in, and then you get someone like Michael Shannon in, and you'd expect them to like stick out a little more,
I mean,
or
I
like
think
even
it.
Tony
As
Collette.
I said, it's
But
more of not what I want. I think it served the plot and the story and the characters well. It did everything that it needed to do, and it served what it did well. And I don't think there's really anything to critique about that because I mean, what's there to change? What would you want them to change critically? Like, I don't think there's really much you could ask more for if they really are going to make a sequel, other than, make it obviously different and better. But I mean, how could you make it better? Just make it on par because it's so good. And if they do make it better, well, hell, good. There's really nothing to critique. I can't bring the peg down. They can only go up because you can always go up. The point
yeah.
is 10 out of 10.
Also,
Either
fuck. Oh fuck. I want to take back everything good I said. Okay, I'm not gonna take away everything good I said, but I want to take away a lot of what I said good about Ana de Armas. Oh fuck, she's in the Minions movie. Oh god. Oh god.
Oh, yeah. I haven't
Oh
seen that movie.
god. Oh fucking god. God damn it. Did you have to? Did you have to? You could be in you're in the new Bond movie. You're in fucking Knives Out. You're in Blade Runner 2049. You gotta be in Minions. Come on. God fucking damn it.
You should
This is
just
how
end
we
it
end the
there.
podcast.
Yeah, just end it there. Just after your rant, it'd be so funny.